Hey, coming up right now, you've heard the saying, you're full of baloney, right? Well, one woman takes it a step further as she tries to clear customs.
Also coming up, stabbed on campus, an Arizona college student caught off guard as she tries to enter a classroom.
A little bit later on, it's all in the fine print. How many times have you heard that? One couple tries to sue Uber after a terrible crash.
Daily Flash starts right now.
Get ready for trending news and entertainment. This is Daily Flash with your hosts, Andrea Jackson and Mitch English. The fun starts right now. This is Daily Flash.
Hi everyone, I'm Andrea Jackson.
I am Mitch English. We're welcoming you to Daily Flash. We're so glad to have you here for our midweek show. We always have lots of fun when we do that. Of course, too, we are also joined by Matt Doolittle, who hangs out with us, and we are getting ready for sure for Matt Doolittle.
Yeah, guys, there's a pair of shoes I'm trying to get over here, so I'm a little.
Oh, you're shopping. Don't let the show get in the way of your shopping.
The Kobe 8 Pro Tro Hollywood Nights they're on sale in a minute. So,
right,
Nick, you want to help me out? You guys, you want to help me out?
Anybody have any cash for that?
Get on the...
You know, when you get an email like when you're at the house from Matt, and you're like, what the heck? So he sends me this picture yesterday.
Oh, God.
Of something that's outside my car, right? That we are not sure if it's a human or
dog or canine
possibly.
Or feline.
And then he asked me if I brought it in, and I'm like, no. I don't know why it's there. No, it's right next to my car. So apparently I'm guilty by association.
I mean, we have roosters outside, too.
We do.
It could have been a rooster. That's a big rooster, but it could have been a rooster.
Do you hear the roosters when you come in?
No.
Yeah.
You don't hear the roosters?
There's roosters out there. It's interesting. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, so that's the fun you have off camera here at Daily Flash.
New trend right now.
Okay.
Baby boomers looking for roommates. So boomer roomies.
Boomer. Ooh, I like that.
Now, here's the reason why. We've got an aging population, right? A lot of them are living in large homes by themselves. And
Makes
they're
sense.
also talking about the alone virus, which they say kills more people than smoking. You get to that age, you find yourself dealing with loneliness. They're saying a lot of boomers now, not only to curtail the loneliness, but also to help with money because inflation is affecting everybody. And if you're living on a fixed income, you don't have a lot of extra spending cash. So they're opening up their big homes, if they have them, to strangers, to roommates, not family members, but an actual roommate.
So are they looking? Well, here's the thing. Once you get older and you're married, you and your wife become roommates for the rest anyway. So think about that. But yeah, the loneliness factor is a big deal. Now, are they looking for people of their same age, or maybe will they take in anybody?
Anybody from 40 to 80. They're looking for a roommate that can help pay, the rent, that can bring in some money, but also become sort of a friend and have somebody to talk to. And I think, if you've got a parent that's living by themselves, it's kind of comforting to know that if they've got somebody there, they can kind of keep an extra eye on them. Someone you can trust.
You just get that necklace when you fall down. What is it?
Sorry.
Help, I fallen. I can't
get up.
I could buy that. And also, too, if you think about your home is probably either about to be paid off or paid off. You don't want to get rid of it.
No.
This has so much in your life.
Right.
The last thing you want to do, believe me, when you get older, is move once again.
Exactly.
So
you always hear about people downsizing. We're going to downsize and move to a smaller place. But oftentimes it's like, you're right. Who wants to move at that age?
I think
I don't want to move at this age.
Nobody wants. Yeah, moving just is a drag.
The worst.
You'll have basements. Where we're at in Florida, we don't have them, but basements are so easy to rent out, to renovate into like a new apartment. So I could see how that could work. All right, I'm into it. I might do it.
Boomer roomies.
All right, anybody want to move in with me when I get older? Let me know.
My mom could. I'm dealing with that with her right now.
That's true.
She kind of lives on her own, and I'm over there every day, like fixing stuff.
So would you feel better if she had a roommate?
Yes. I'm trying to get her a cat at this point. Just something there. But I've got the whole house rigged up with Amazon
cameras?
Alexas.
Oh, okay.
So I don't want the cameras. But I want the Alexas, so at least if something happens, she can call me on the, I had to rig it up like
nice.
that. So I'm not there all the time.
They have a new one out that they're making for the older generation that is like FaceTime, but for the TV. And all they have to do is just press a button. So if you need to see them and talk to them, they know that the TV's there. I know a lot of our older generation can do computers, but sometimes they just want simplicity. They can press a button and it's basically a computer monitor, and then it would call you or whoever.
Do they still have those jitterbug phones with the big The big numbers.
I believe we talked about it a while back.
One of
The younger generation is actually moving to them. Yeah.
Yes, because they're simple and they just need them for a phone call.
So the boomers, you got the right idea for sure.
Yes.
Let's jump into some trending news. A woman busted smuggling more than 700 pounds of bologna. You tried that,
yeah, girl. I mean, that was the last time we were.
Here's the thing: they tried it across the U.S.-Mexico border over in Texas. The 43-year-old American citizen tried to enter the country from Mexico. Nothing's better than Mexican bologna.
Yeah.
First off, here in the United States, we don't know what's in it. Anyway, she declared only a cooked meal during her first inspection. After a secondary look, they found in her car several suitcases stuffed with 40 rolls of the sandwich meat. In total, inspectors found 748 pounds of Mexican bologna.
Is that Preparation E?
It gets better. Yes, yeah. She's got more stuff in there.
It's illegal actually to bring it stateside because it's considered a threat to America's pork industry, and Lord knows we need that. Agents continued to search her car, Matt, and found 280 boxes of prescription drugs hidden inside various panels of the car. Also found $7,500 in hidden cash.
Ooh.
That's a good time. That seems like a party to me.
You're going to need some Pepto-Bismol after you eat some Mexican bologna, I'm sure.
Cash, bologna, and prescription drugs.
It's a Thursday for me, right?
Well, this next story shines a light on mental health. An Arizona State University student is accused of randomly stabbing a co-ed in class. Authorities charged 19-year-old Casey Lenice Charlie Sloan with first-degree attempted murder in connection with the attack against fellow student Mara Daffron.
Yeah, it looks like she did it.
Thankfully, Mara is making great progress. She is on the mend. Detectives found a handwritten note inside Sloan's backpack that referenced an act she was about to commit. Sloan apparently expressed the desire to hurt somebody in class that day and chose to target Daffron because she considered her a, quote, easy target.
Well, it looks like she would have been. She looks smaller than her and everything. It's scary. The last thing you want to think about is any kind of assault when you're kind of vulnerable when you first go to college, if you think about that too.
Yeah, but I think in this day and age, college campuses seem so disruptive and kind of on edge that it would be helpful if there was somebody that could kind of like cool things down a little bit. This only adds to the concern I'm sure a lot of parents have when it comes to what's happening on campuses across the country.
I agree, and I think this is their first tast of freedom a lot of time, and they're among peers of the same people going through the same things, and the first time they actually have a voice, if you think about it, and there's lots of changes. Your frontal lobe hasn't really fully developed there as well. Let's just hope that she gets the mental help that she needs. We move now to New Jersey, where a couple there suffered life-changing injuries after their Uber ride crashed back in March of 2022. Now, they were in the back seat when their Uber driver ran a red light, T-boned another car. Well, they wanted their day in court, but Uber says, no, not so fast. Georgia and John McGinty, they were told they could not take their case to jury because they agreed to the terms in a fine print that's on the app. The judge ruled that once they click confirm button on the app, they agree to Uber's terms of use. McGinty's argued that they didn't understand they were forfeiting their right to actually sue the company. Uber says that their terms of use are clear and that these claims should actually be resolved in arbitration, which means that the dispute is settled through a third party rather than in court. And in this case, a lawyer appointed by Uber. Now, legal experts say it intends to result in a much smaller financial settlement as well, because you don't have a jury appears to talk about, compensatory damages as well. And then it also goes upon, keep in mind, an Uber driver, even though it's your car and you're supposed to have insurance and that sort of thing, you're working for Uber. So they're going after Uber, and Uber could probably say, well, look, maybe you should go after their insurance instead of, and getting, because I can imagine this is not, I had a friend actually that was in a wreck that had the
incident.
Right, thank you for saying.
But the crazy thing is, it's the Uber driver's fault, according to the report, that ran a red light and T-boned another car. And these folks suffered some serious injuries, life-changing injuries. And now they're sort of stuck trying to figure out, well, I get the fine print, but that doesn't seem right.
It does kind of linger to the legalese that goes into these things, much like the Disney folks, because
with the allergy,
they bought that. Yeah, she had an allergic reaction and at Disney World, but she had, because she downloaded the app or something, that they can't any kind of argument in front of a judge. That's
the other
weird
thing too is if this Uber driver didn't tell his insurance company that he was driving for Uber, then the insurance company can go, well, we got nothing in this because he didn't tell us.
He violated
because you
their
have
terms.
to tell your insurance company that you are driving for Uber, whether it's food or whatever. You have to tell them. Otherwise, the insurance company is going to wipe their hands of it.
It is crazy to think about the fine print when you sign up for these apps or even updates on your phone.
No one reads it.
Nobody reads that stuff. You just hit agree so we can get on with our day, right? I mean, it's just nuts to think that you're pretty much signing your life
And
away
how many
if you
times
have
have
any
you been in
issues.
an Uber where you're like, I don't know if this guy's all together. We were in an Uber in Vegas and I got out and there was a gun on the floor.
True story. True story.
Hand Baby Christmas. Yeah,
I was
we
there.
got out and I was like, oh, there's a Glock.
It's a true story. We were. I saw the gun and everything. I was like, wow. All right, we would love to hear from you about this. Maybe you've had an incident and you'd like to share it with us. We'd like to share it with America. Well, actually, the whole world. Just go to our website to sound off.
Welcome back to Daily Flash. As the U.S. population gets older, it's important to focus on the positive aspects of aging. Connecting with others and keeping active is the key to thriving in those golden years. Joining us now with more is author Florence Ann Romano. Florence, welcome back to the show.
So happy to be back with you. Thank you.
This is an important topic. We've been discussing a lot of these kind of angles to this story, including, boomer roommates. So why is connecting with others so important as we age, and can it improve seniors' overall health?
I feel like I had a front row seat for this growing up. I'm from an old school Italian family. My mom's parents, my grandparents lived with us growing up. And so they always said to us, we are living so long because we have something to live for. It's too much fun here with all of you guys. And they lived well into their 90s. But I understand not everybody is born into that situation. Not every aging population has that type of village. And the truth is, the CDC keeps telling us that loneliness and social isolation is putting our elderly population at risk for dementia, depression, immune deficiency. So as we get older, it's even more paramount for us to focus on connection for our mental health and also our physical health.
Yet the lonely virus is something that the CDC has said it can actually be worse than smoking. How can people find their village, Florence?
I always laugh because people will say to me, do these people just show up at your front door with like a casserole ready to help you raise your children? Like, what's the deal? Is there a phone number to call? So I thought to myself, it's time we actually did have a roadmap for this. So I created 6 archetypes of villagers in my book, Build Your Village. And each of those 6 archetypes has characteristics. They have their own unique nature. And you cast your friends and family into these roles and you figure out, okay, who's missing? Do I need to fire anyone from the roles that they're in, or do I need to shuffle the deck a bit? But that's how you actually take your first step to figuring out who my village is and where they are and how do I find them.
It's like casting a sitcom, almost.
With just as much drama and all of that too. I always say it's like a movie or a play, so pick your poison.
My grandfather always used to say, always have something to look forward to. Give yourself something to anticipate. What can people do individually to help them thrive at this age?
My number one piece of advice for anyone, no matter your age, especially the aging population, is philanthropy. Find what makes your heart beat, what makes your heart flutter, and then join an organization, because what happens there is there's already kind of built-in community. It's a less intimidating place for you to be. And also, you're going to be with people that are like-minded and have similar values. So it's just a win-win. You can give back, serve a purpose, but also find community.
We talked about this, and I want to get your perspective at the top of the show about boomer roomies, the boomer population inviting roommates that are not necessarily related to them into their homes because they've got these huge homes and they need to fill space, and they also need to make some extra cash on the side. What are your thoughts?
I love it. I think it's connection in ways that fill a lot of deep wells. And I think that's what we're looking for as we get older, is being creative about the ways that we connect with people. And also, one of the hardest things I think for people is asking for help. And this is one of those places, especially the aging population, where they don't want to admit to the loneliness, and asking for that help can be difficult. So making sure that we're paying attention to what's actually being asked of us there, and what's the benefit for both sides. I have to go back to my grandparents for a second and say that growing up with my grandparents in our home, it taught me unbelievable life lessons that I probably would not have learned if it wasn't for the exposure to them in that way. So think about, from the younger perspective and the older perspective, what you're gaining from being in that environment.
Great information, Florence. Always great to see you. Thank you so much for joining us on the show today.
Thank you. So good to be with you. Thanks so much.
For more information about Florence Ann and to get a copy of her book, It Takes a Village, a guide to finding joy and community in every stage of life, please visit florenceann.com.
It is time for a little segment we all like to call Mitch, Please. All right, you're going to love this one, too. The first ever positively Jewish calendar features Instagram famous pups hailing from as far as Israel and Canada, all celebrating Jewish pride. And Mazel Tov, yes, and dog lovers can actually fetch a copy just in time for the high holidays. Picking up the pups, at least, was a pretty tough task for the calendar. Aww. For the co-creator, Rabbi Robin Frisch, she actually runs the social media group Mazel Pups. She says that, see what we did? She said that she doesn't even know these dogs at all, but it's kind of like choosing between her own dogs. It's like choosing between my own dogs. Some of the dogs have over 21,000 Instagram followers. How many does your cat have, Maddie?
It's like 1,000.
1,000? Is that it? All right, it's not a bad start. You can get a calendar. It's going to cost you $26.95 with a portion of the profits donated to the Israel Guide Dog Center. And they highlight Jewish and Israeli holidays, as well as explain what each one celebrates, so even the Gentiles can appreciate it and understand it. At least every day of the year. Am I right, everybody? Because after all, Mitch, please! Here's the thing. Now, if you need calendars, do these dogs know they're Jewish?
I don't think they do.
So, yeah, is there
It's a little expensive for the Jewish dogs, though.
For $27?
For $27, that's a little expensive, and this is coming from a Gentile.
Yes, we have that.
Where can you buy calendars these days? You used to be able to buy them everywhere.
Right.
Now you got to search for them.
I always feel bad around July when you see a calendar for sale and that it's like of the current year, and you're like, well, why don't you just give it
Is the dog food kosher?
That's a very good question. I don't know.
Right?
I would think so.
I guess it would have to be.
Yes.
Who knows?
What?
I don't know.
Never make with the snippy snip.
He can do that. He's part Jewish,
Yes, I
so he's
can.
allowed to do that.
Yes, I can.
am a Gentile, so I will. Well, you and I will work out our differences all together. All right, there we go. There's Mitch, please. Got a crazy story you want to share with us? Do so. By the way, we are always waiting for you to join us online. You can watch full episodes at dailyflashshow.com. Welcome back to Daily Flash. Let's talk about some trending stories here. I'm Mitch English. There's one food that unites all of us, and that is pizza. Wouldn't you say? I mean,
yes.
because it's communal, we can share, we can put different toppings on the side. Well, a United Airlines pilot actually treated 150 passengers to a cheesy surprise when he ordered 30 pizzas, all following an emergency landing. Pilot actually tried to ease the situation by ordering pizza from a local restaurant, a gesture that actually shocked the crew as well as the passengers. The flight was forced to make an emergency landing shortly after takeoff when a passenger collapsed in the bathroom and required medical assistance. Well, the situation left passengers stuck at the New Mexico airport. Don't they call it something different out there, Braden? It's not called the airport. It's like there's another name for it. Anyway.
El Airport?
No, it's like called
Air Lodge.
Google Phoenix while we're waiting here.
It's New Mexico.
I know, but Phoenix calls it the Sunport. Thank you.
Sunport.
The New Mexico Sunport, that's what it's called. Anyway, for several flights, their flight was actually rescheduled. They had to get a new crew to come in. New flight took off 7 hours after the emergency landing there. So good for him. Pilots.
He tried. He was trying to help out.
A lot of people don't realize that a pilot is a captain by all means, and he's a captain of a ship that happens to fly. So his rules no matter what. He can make his own rules. If you don't like it, he can kick you off. And we only hear those stories. So to hear a story like this, I really appreciate it.
Mitch, you brought this story up on our Monday show about some lost footage that has just been found, right? Never before seen footage of President John F. Kennedy's motorcade speeding toward a Dallas hospital has been sold at auction. The auction house offered the lot to an anonymous bidder for $137,000. The bidding started at $12,000. The footage was taken by Dale Carpenter on a home movie camera. He'd been sitting in a milk crate until 2010 when his grandson discovered the reel, projected it onto his bedroom wall.
Wow.
Carpenter was lined up along the street, ready to film JFK's motorcade on November 22nd, 1963. He just missed filming the president's limousine and settled for recording the other cars in the procession. The film footage, though, picks up after Kennedy had been shot. Carpenter captured the president's car driving toward Parkland Memorial Hospital in Dallas. The auction did release photos from the video showing the president's limo, but have no plans to release the entire footage.
Well, somebody paid a lot of money for it to have it there. And, we think of the Zapruder film as the one that we see. And if you ever been to Dallas, was it you and I talking about that?
I've been there.
You could see, like, wait a minute.
Doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense.
Because they tell you, they're like, look over here and then there, and you're like, that doesn't make
that window
physics.
Is so far away. You kind of think about it, and it's part of American history. A horrible thing happened at the same time, and the great movies have come out as well. Yeah. And we just don't know because they said, we're not going to release this information for decades from now.
Until after everyone is dead from the Kennedy Commission and all of that. The Warren Commission.
We still don't know. And then they release some stuff and it's all been truncated where it's all a lot of
I always said if I became president and, God save the country if that ever happens.
The Lord
that
Almighty.
Ain't gonna happen. Thank you. I want to know two things. JFK and aliens. That's the first things I do when I walk into that office and go, aliens and JFK.
I would want to know aliens first, I think. Because I think it's there. I don't think it's like in the movies, but I think there was some kind of
space.
Back and to the right. Back and to the right.
And what we forget is that back then, now everybody has cameras and immediacy of information. Mm-hmm. Whereas back then, a lot of times I would tell you something, then you go, well, Mitch said this, and then it turned into something. So we don't you could see where some things went off grid as far as the story goes, but you still want to know. And that's our human nature is to find out.
It's crazy to think in this day and age of all the information that we have that we still don't know the specifics.
Exactly. Jackson, were you named after anybody in your family?
Yes. Yes, not after in my family. But I asked my parents, I'm like, why Andrea? And they're like, well, we met a flight attendant at a party, and her name was Andy Bartlett, and her real name was Andrea Bartlett, and we just loved the name.
That's cool.
So we thought we'll name our daughter Andrea so she can go by Andy, and
I love it. I call you Andy. Matt, were you anybody?
Just the middle name, Irvin, is a family name. My grandfather had it, my uncle has it, I have it.
Mitch?
I was not, but my siblings, we all have the same initials. All of us do. All five of us. And so they just, I guess, we need an M name. So it came to me. Well, anyway, a Michigan newborn actually rocking a catchy name that actually will serve a constant reminder of the unusual place where he was born. Kylie and Aaron Baker gave birth to their third child in the parking lot of One Well Brewing.
Oh, he looks ecstatic.
Right when they went into labor. The kid looks passed out right there as well. That ain't beer. The couple named their child Forrest Wells Baker, choosing a middle name that pays tribute to one of their favorite pubs. Kylie said that she didn't realize that she was in labor until she initially told her husband she was expecting and experiencing some cramping. As they made their way to the hospital, the Bakers were forced to pull over into the parking lot of the brewery as the baby couldn't wait. The owner said that he found out what was happening in the parking lot after the Bakers called a to-go order, if you can buy that. The brewery celebrated the news on their Facebook page, posting that the pub is a gathering spot for all kinds, even newborns. But he'll have to wait 21 years before he's allowed in, by all means. Okay, that, like middle names, like that, that's cool.
That's cool.
That's actually a cool story.
I like that, yeah.
I was born in a parking lot of a brewery. I mean, that's actually really cool. I love that.
Your fate could be sealed for you. You may be the landlord of a pub in your future.
I love that. We got more trending news and entertainment, lots of fun when we return.
This is Daily Flash with your hosts, Andrea Jackson and Mitch English. Trending news and entertainment. This is Daily Flash.
Hi, everybody. I am Mitch English.
I'm Andrea Jackson. This is Daily Flash, your source for trending news and entertainment.
Halfway through the week, we're so glad that you're here. Halfway through our show, too. And we have got great stuff still planned for us. Okay, just imagine this. If we put you on assignment, we go, hey, Matt or Andrea, say, hey, we want you this weekend. We want you to go down to West Palm Beach for the weekend. And you do some work and come on back, right? Cool. Okay. You go do it. And you go down there and they go, your car is messed up. You're going to have to stay down there. And you wind up staying for a total of 5 months. And then when we go and send a car down to go get you, you have to wait an additional 4 months before you can come back. And that is what 2 astronauts right now are doing on the International
Those
Space
Boeing
Station.
astronauts, God bless them.
So, and then they said, well, we're going to send you up some new spacesuits. So a change of clothes is nice.
Right, yeah, that would
from
help. From Elon Musk.
Elon Musk, right.
Because he's the one sending one of his SpaceX rockets
Ubers,
up.
if you will.
Yeah, his own personal Uber up there to grab them.
With 2 seats ready to go.
And 2 seats ready to go. But they're not going to be able to come back until February. So you can imagine that. So you made plans for Christmas holidays or whatever. and you're like, hey, honey,
they were supposed to be there for
make
8
it home
days.
Or not. I know, that's
8
what I'm
days.
saying.
And now they're stuck up there for
They've been up there
6 months?
since June.
And will it be close to a year by the time they come back?
Oh, well, they're up here in June. They're coming back in February. So near about. I mean, at least,
if everything works out, in February
that's the case.
is a date that works for everybody and the stars.
And it's like, you didn't pack enough underwear.
No.
For that, right? So
think about what if you had plans, like what if you
That's
were
what I'm
engaged
saying.
to get married, or a
What about
birthday, or
Christmas?
graduation. Well, clearly, holidays, all of that.
I feel
stuff.
so sorry for those.
My wife's in the space community. She's trying to be the first space lawyer out there. This is a clown show going on in that community of Boeing's never going to be trusted ever again to do one of these rockets.
And Boeing's already had so much issues with their strike going on, and then obviously with their airplanes as well.
Yeah.
We should make mention. I call them American heroes. Butch Wilmore and Suni Williams are those 2 astronauts that are up there. I've not heard them complain at all.
Yeah.
So good for them.
Give it till they get home.
Oh, they will. Wait till they get home. But you don't complain when you're
stuck up there. You're not
If
going
you were one of their kids in school and you were sick, I'm sorry, I can't get a note from my parent because she's up in space.
If you
She's
can reach
stuck
her,
in space.
Go ahead.
She should have been home by now.
I need the new iPhone update. I was supposed to have it, and I can't get it all the way up here.
Goodness gracious. Well, we hope for the best, and hopefully they get
Crossing
home
our
safe
fingers.
and sound. A woman was busted for smuggling more than 700 pounds of bologna across the U.S.-Mexico border in Texas.
Mitch.
The 43-year-old, an American citizen, tried to enter the country from Mexico, only declaring a cooked meal during her first inspection. However, after a secondary look through her car, they found several suitcases stuffed with 40 rolls of sandwich meat. In total, inspectors found 748 pounds of Mexican bologna. Yep, it's illegal to bring it stateside because it's considered a treat, or a threat, I should say, to America's pork industry. Agents continued to search her car and found 280 boxes of prescription drugs hidden inside various panels of her car.
It's a good time.
They also found more than $7,500 in hidden cash.
And I say, bologna. I can't eat bologna. I can't eat hot dogs because they can't tell me what's inside them. I mean, they can give me a general idea, and that's the United States, which we have somewhat of some rules.
Right.
Mexico, totally different story. I'm not knocking the country or whatever.
No.
They just don't have the same standards. And for you to send it to, I call that
bologna.
worse. 700 pounds of Mexican bologna in America is not a good thing to have at all.
The question is what was she going to do with it?
Yeah.
Is she taking it to, is she going to sell it for human consumption? Was she going to take it to a zoo? Was she taking it to a pet store? I don't know.
With all the
Starting
drugs,
OnlyFans.
it makes you wonder she's not doing everything for...
Was there something inside the bologna?
That's a good thing to check.
I don't know if they cut it open.
No one knows what's inside bologna, so no one will open it up.
No,
They'll
you're
find
right.
it out.
She probably has a whole other stash of something in the bologna.
I would think so. Still, I'm just glad it didn't make its way into the United
When
States.
you go to prison, though, and they ask you, what are you in for? I smuggled in a bunch of bologna from Mexico. Do the other prisoners just go, you should have murdered somebody? They go, what are they? How are you treated in prison?
They actually put you in a whole different section because that bologna is
Bologna smugglers get their own section?
Well, you've never been in prison, have you?
No.
Think about what you just
Not
said.
yet.
Hey, we're going to do the scene with Doreen coming up next.
This is Tim. Tim is all about time, and if you've ever had a chance to look into Tim's cold, dead eyes, you'll see that it's time for you to follow us on social media. Sure, there's 10,000 social sites out there, and we don't have the time to name them all. Seriously, just ask Tim. So take the time to look for Daily Flash TV on your favorite social sites, and start following us. That's all the time, Tim. Goodbye.
Hey, welcome back to Daily Flash. I'm Mitch English. It is time to get on the scene. This week, Doreen is chatting it up with female bass player Mohini Day.
Hey guys, this week on The Scene with Doreen, I got to sit down with Mohini Day, bass guitarist extraordinaire. She has set the music industry on fire, and I can't wait to feel the heat. Check it out. When was the first time it hit you that you really are a role model for so many young girls?
Yeah, that always gets me. That every time, like I'll give you an example. When I was touring with Willow Smith, I was surprised that a lot of people in the audience, they were calling out my name during her show, and I was like, whoa, that's crazy. Who would have thought, it's like, so people are well informed, like,
sure,
there she is playing bass,
you know? Yeah, you stand out, girl. In traditional Indian culture, it's a patriarchal society. The majority of the power rests with the men.
Yeah.
In America, we have our issues too. I want to say, you really are a badass. Are men intimidated by you?
Yeah, I always felt like, that was there at first, but are they intimidated? I'm sure, like, the first time, the people that meet me for the first time probably they think I am too pretentious and full of attitude and stuff, and she must be very bold and stuff. But then when they meet me, they realize I am so not all of that. Yeah, I mean, if people feel intimidated by that, then that's their problem.
That's on them, not on you.
Yeah.
I know you have an affinity for fashion as well as music. So I want to know, is there a Mohini Day fashion line in the works?
Yeah. It's going to take a little bit of time because I'm also working on a couple of other things. This is the first time I'm announcing it, actually. I'm working on my signature straps.
Ooh.
And then we have signature strings coming out. So a lot of things in the making that are going to be launched in the next few months. I'm really excited about that. And the fashion thing, I used to cut up my mom's saris and just clothes and make my own outfits. And I like to design my own outfits for my photo shoots, for my album cover, for my performances. And I like to wear my own designs,
That's awesome. You're on stage wearing your creations so everyone can see it. It's like a walking billboard. It's perfect.
Yeah, people love it. People see it and they ask me, where did you get it from? I was like, you can't get it anywhere. This is my creation.
Now you're going to have a thing where, like, an app where they'll put a photo on you and be able to click on your jacket or click on your pants and be able to order it as you're on stage.
Man, that's a great idea. I don't know if I'm allowed to say
No, it's all right. It's all right. I like that. I think I got to work for you. I think we got to team up here, girl.
Yeah. This is amazing. I'm writing that down.
You're really setting the industry on fire. You're changing the way people perceive an instrument that, like you said, is very, traditionally masculine, and you're adding this whole new flavor and look and sound. And hats off to you.
Thank you so much. I had such a great time.
Mohini has redefined the very definition of bass guitar player, and I can't wait to see what she has in store for us next. And if you want to hear more of our great conversation, you can visit right here. I'm Doreen Taylor with The Scene with Doreen here at the Daily Flash each week. See you next time.
KSA Entertainment is dedicated to uplifting the communities we serve. Through KSA Cares, we're bringing awareness to the causes that matter most, supporting those who work tirelessly to make a difference. From honoring veterans to championing environmental responsibility, KSA Cares is committed to inspiring positive change. At KSA Entertainment, we're here for the stories that bring us closer. Innovate with us. We can make a difference.
Hey, some people like to begin the new year with a dry January. A drinks expert and brand educator from Deutsch Family Wine and Spirits has tips on how to enjoy favorite wines and light cocktails while still keeping those dry resolutions.
Hey everybody, I'm Theo Rutherford, drinks expert and brand educator for Deutsch Family Wine and Spirits, here with some tips and inspiration on how to kick off the new year. Look, just because you've committed to a drier January does not mean you still can't have a little bit of fun when it comes to what you eat and drink this time of year. First up, the newest offering from Josh Cellars, a non-alcoholic sparkling. This is Josh Cellars' first ever non-alcoholic offering, made in Italy in the heart of the Prosecco region by our 5th generation Italian winemaking team. It's vibrant, refreshing, and bursting with flavors like pear and citrus and green apple. This sparkling is perfect for sipping or mixing in your favorite mocktail like a crisp Bellini, a mimosa, or a refreshing spritz. It pairs beautifully with your favorite Italian dishes like a cheese and meat antipasti or even pizza night. Or you know what, just keep it simple for your next movie night and pair it with your favorite popcorn. For those of you doing more of a dry-ish January, I recommend Yellowtail Pure Bright White Wines. These are light, bright, and refreshing, and the best part, lower in alcohol and lighter in calories. These wines are available in 3 classic varieties, Pinot Grigio, Sauvignon Blanc, and Chardonnay. And while they all have just 80 to 85 calories per glass, they are packed with bright, delicious flavors that you look for in any good glass of white wine. Enjoy a chilled glass on its own, or use any of these Pure Bright wines to make a lighter white sangria with some seasonal fruit. They also pair beautifully with your favorite pasta dishes like a pesto or an Alfredo, or a more seasonal offering like roasted kale and butternut squash. You can find these at any retailer near you. For more drink inspiration and pairing tips, check out deutschfamily.com. I'm Theo Rutherford, and cheers.
Hey, are you struggling to get rid of stubborn pockets of fat that won't budge, no matter how much you diet or exercise? Well, joining us today is Michelle Welsh, RN at Cool Spa by Ethos and Clinical Training Manager for Allegiant Medical Institute and Cool Sculpting Elite patient Sebastian Liu to share the inside scoop on popular non-invasive body contouring treatment.
Hi, thanks for having us. Cool Sculpting Elite is a non-invasive treatment that targets areas of stubborn fat that are resistant to diet and exercise by freezing and eliminating treated fat cells through a process called cryolipolysis, also known as fat freezing. When Station first came into my office, he shared how he leads an overall active and healthy lifestyle. I explained to him that Cool Sculpting Elite is like a finishing touch to contour the body and shape the silhouette of the treated areas. Now, each patient has a personalized treatment plan based on their specific body contouring goals. However, most patients may need at least 2 or more visits to achieve their desired results, which was the case for Station. Cool Tone is an FDA-cleared, non-invasive treatment for the strengthening, toning, and firming of the buttocks, abdomen, and thighs. You know, some common side effects do include temporary numbness, redness, bruising, discomfort, and swelling. Rare side effects may also occur. I recommend patients should talk with their doctor about the risks. I always tell my patients the new year is the perfect time to get started on your body contouring journey so they can see the results in time for spring and summer. And in honor of Cool Month, new patients may be able to claim $300 off a Cool Sculpting treatment until February 6th, or while supplies last. And patients who register for Cool Month sweepstakes and get treated with Cool Sculpting before March 24th will be entered for a chance to win $10,000. Scan the QR code on the screen to learn more about the Cool Month sweepstakes happening now. And if you want to learn more about Cool Sculpting and Cool Sculpting Elite or Cool Tone and find a provider near you, visit coolsculpting.com and read the full important safety information.
Hey, with 2025 underway, it's the perfect time to prioritize health and wellness. Joining us now with some simple tips to help you start the year strong is registered dietitian and nutritionist with Bayer, Kelly Bristow. Welcome.
We're coming off the hectic holiday season, and many are often looking at the first of the year as a clean slate. So while I encourage thinking about health and wellness at any point in the year, the first of the year is oftentimes when it's top of mind. A nutrient gap is when we're not meeting the minimum amount of nutrients we need to feel our best. So tip number 1 is to think about adding color and variety to your day through produce and thinking about diverse diet. So think about adding things like small snacking peppers or cherry tomatoes, things that can can add a lot of color because that adds different nutrition. Now, if you aren't getting a diverse diet or you feel like you might have nutrient gaps, you could also consider adding in a multivitamin. So Bayer's One A Day brand has a wide variety of multivitamins that can reach different age groups and different nutritional needs. So talk with your primary care physician to see if you might be having any gaps and how you might be able to fill that with micronutrient supplement. You can check out bayer.us. You can also go to amazon.com/oneaday to find more information.
Thanks for all the great info. We'll make sure we have it on our website at dailyflashshow.com.
Hey, Mitchie.
Hey, Jackson.
Yeah, I want to talk about that big story coming out of Hollywood.
Hold on. Wait. I want to get Matt in on this call. All right, hold on.
Hey, what's up, Mitch and Dias?
Matty!
Mitchie.
Mateus.
Mitch, my man.
Matty of Berkshire.
What's going on?
Hey, AJ wants us to talk about a big story that's happening.
This kid, the Kiki, says hi. He has his own Instagram.
That's great, Matt, but I really want to talk about this big story coming out of Hollywood.
Ooh, dog and cat, it's
You should check it out. That's Biz Kid, the Kiki.
I want to know what's going on.
What?
Oh, okay, so real quick. Why does he still have a dial-up modem?
Hey, I gotta get back to wrestling stuff.
It's on the music.
You know what? Maybe we should just try this later.
Okay, all right. Peace and love.
Daily Flash.
Where are you?
It's just better when you're part of the conversation. Join us online. KSA Entertainment is dedicated to uplifting the communities we serve. Through KSA Cares, we're bringing awareness to the causes that matter most, supporting those who work tirelessly to make a difference. From honoring veterans to championing environmental responsibility, KSA Cares is committed to inspiring positive change. At KSA Entertainment, we're here for the stories that bring us closer. Innovate with us. We can make a difference.
Hey, welcome back to Daily Flash. I know, Mitch, you've had dogs in the past.
Yeah, I
had one, yes.
Okay.
Little
Dog,
Priscilla.
did you ever do the dog walk stuff?
Like take them out to
Yeah,
walk?
yeah.
My kids did it more than I did just because they wanted them to have a chore.
Yeah. So I've got two big dogs, which I try and watch. I try and walk them on a daily basis.
Okay.
Well, the other night, Alan joined me for the walk. Thankfully, he did. As we were coming up a corner, I saw a young man standing like in a grassy median, and he had a very large gray pit bull.
Okay.
And I just had a bad feeling. I just something in me was like, ooh, this might not be good. Sure enough, as we got closer, this young man did not have control of this pit bull. And when I tell you this pit bull was ginormous,
It was a big old one.
the jaw was this wide.
Wow.
That pit bull got loose from this guy on the leash, ran directly towards us and our two dogs, and I was like, "Oh my God!" I was just and thankfully, Alan grabbed the leash of the pit bull, held on to him, and he yelled at the guy. He's like, "Get control of your dog!" In the meantime, my dog's like, "What is happening? What is happening?" And thankfully, I was able to pull them to the side, and then luckily nobody was hurt, but it was really terrifying.
You had another incident when you messed up your hand
exactly.
at the same time, so I could understand
exactly.
why.
And then another lady just posted something on our neighborhood Facebook page. Does anyone know who owns that gray pit bull? My Dalmatian was tagged, and we got back from the vet, torn apart. Luckily, the dog survived, but I'm like, this young man clearly has no business.
There
with
was
this
just
dog.
that court case where this lady and her husband got put in jail for years because they didn't control their dogs and they murdered an elderly man.
Oh God!
Yeah. Gotta say the pit bulls, they're great animals.
Dogs.
First off,
Yes.
it's how they're
the owner.
The owners,
it's the owner's
100%.
responsibility. 100%. Yes.
And they look intimidating, which they pick up on that from other people
Of
too.
course.
But they are a lot of times just little puppy dogs, wonderful dogs.
But it's all about handling them
trained,
and being able to train them and control them.
Do it, especially if you're in a neighborhood where people walk their dogs. Y'all take care. Have a fantastic day. We'll see you when we look at you. Bye bye.